Afternoon, everybody. How are you? Gosh, 26th of November. Just think, this time next month, Christmas Day will all be over. And all that excitement and everything, it'll just be like, oh, I don't know, a bit full after Christmas dinner. But no, not in our household, to be honest. We don't overdo it. But all's fine. And today then, back to sort of on track and tile 194. And of course, I've got a straight edge ruler today, or you can use a tile. I've got my regular pen, pencil, tortillon. I've got my white pencil, and I've got some pastel pencils today as well. I'm hoping to sort of mix all of them in, so hopefully we'll see how far we get. So hello Rose, yes, nice to see you here today. It's just lovely to sort of speak to everybody, if I'm honest. It's really good that we still do this and people still want to see these videos, so that's great. I'll keep doing it. Oh, happy Friday. I hope Deborah that Thanksgiving was okay yesterday and everything was all up and above board. Oh no, it's just lovely, isn't it? Oh, okay, let's give it a go, shall we? I'm going to come in and I'm going to create a bit of a border just to start with. So here we go. Let's have a look. It's the great thing about this, isn't it? That if you want to, you can create. See, I can actually do 3 sides all in one go. But I'm going to go a little bit narrower, so I'm going to get to it. So my desk's completely cluttered, so I'm trying to sort of struggle around things, and really I should just be tidying up. But not to worry. So there you go. See, I'm going to go a bit thinner there. Look, here you are. Let's do that one. I can work that one out in a bit, just to be sure. And then of course down here. So just, I say not too wide. We want to be working off. There you go. So I'm just going to fill that bit in there. There we go. Of course, same fill there. Okay. All right. So I'm going to split it up a little bit. I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want about 6 gaps, and I'm going to use a pencil just to start me off. So I'm going to do it by eye first. I think I'm going to have quite a narrow one there, and then one that's a little bit wider, one that's going to be a little bit wider, one that's a bit narrower, and then one here that's, I'm going to sort of split that, so I've got that one's a bit narrower and that's quite wide. So you see I've got a little bit of a mixture of sizes there. So again, I'm just going to come on in now and just draw those in, but again, just in pencil. And again, I'm just going to line up the bottom of my straight edge there, my ruler, with that. So I know that when I draw those lines, they're going to be sort of 90 degrees to the tile. So they're going to look sort of straightish. There we go. All right. So, are we up for a challenge this Friday? Oh, honestly, this one's quite a nice one. This is, I think, more of an exercise in shading maybe today. And we all love our shading, so that's not too bad at all. So, okay, I'm going to start with, let's think. I'm going to start with, I'll start with this one, I think. So I'm going to come in with a pen. So it doesn't have to be in the same order. It's just that I've got a specific sort of thing in mind for these different sort of thicknesses. So here we go. I'm just going to come on in and I'm going to add in, I'm going to go from this end. I'm going to add in a bit of a swirl. There we go. No rush with this. It's nice to do. Okay. So this weekend's going to be a little bit different, isn't it? Being that last weekend we did a class and it was all busy over here. So it was lovely. I really love doing those. If anybody's up for a class, you know, if somebody says to you, what do you want for Christmas? And you think, I just don't know what, you know, you could always come on over, come to my class. We've got some next month, 18th and 19th of December. And then we've got one on January the 3rd, because as we know, it's a bank holiday. So I thought that'd be quite nice to sort of do one then. It's a great start of the year, and you know, some of us, we get a little bit down, don't we, that kind of time of the year. So I thought it'd be nice to set something up and have a, you know, a good start to the next year. So, okay. You see what I'm doing? I'm just coming back and I'm just sort of adding a little bit of weight in areas, just on these curves here. And sometimes we'll put extra weight on those, but we can change it up. We can add it wherever we like. There we are, see, just sort of a bit more there. Changes the feel of it a little bit, doesn't it? Okay, and see we've got these gaps. I'm going to just come on in and sort of a little bit, it's like a little heart shape there, isn't it? A little bit of an aura in there. I might just actually do that. There we go, just change it about a bit. And same in that one. And then this one, I'm going to do them sort of that way. Now you can just do a regular aura. Just going and filling it in with a bit of colour there. There we are. And I think I'll stick one in up there as well. And then of course same on this side. Just like little hearts, aren't they? But as I say, you can see that one's going to go. I'm going to put that one that way just because I can, because it's different. Oh, Joe, it doesn't matter. You'll catch up. We'll just sort of pick the ones you want. If you've missed a few, it doesn't matter. When you get some time, you can always come back and, you know, do them again. It's not a problem at all. Okay, let's have a look then. I'm going to come on over now to this one here. I'm just going to sort of split it up to give me a little bit of a heads up as to where I'm going. So let's just put split it into two first. And then here I'm going to go into 3. There you go. So I've got 3 little sections there. And then, oh, I might get a few more in there. Let's have a look. Yeah, I might go, oh, let's have a look then. Might just make that one a bit narrower there. That one a bit narrower there. A bit narrower there. Okay. So at least I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got about 7. Doesn't matter. As long as you've broken it up, it's absolutely fine. So here we go. I'm going to go a little bit larger now. There we are. So in this top little box here, I'm not going from the middle. You might want to just see what I'm doing. I'm going to put a little curve from there to there. And then similar on the other side. Okay. And then I'm going to do that all the way down. So you might do these ones first. There we go. So you're not going to see these lines afterwards. It's just giving me a little bit of a guide as to where these are going to start. There you go. Okay. And then the next, I'm going to do the same on this side. Now they're a little bit different in shape. Don't worry. You just want to sort of enjoy the process there. And a little one at the bottom. There we go. Okay, you ready? So I was just going to think which is the best way perhaps of doing this for starters. Okay, I'm going to bring this one down, create a curve. And the same on all of them. Okay. I like this tangle. Okay, and then from about here in the middle, I'm going to aura that line. There we go. And the same on this one. I'm going to just aura that line. Aura that line. And again. And just keep that going. You notice they're not too thick, these lines. They just sort of work their way down. And then same here. Do you know, it's lovely to sort of hear that you like getting these parcels. I mean, I buy a lot of craft stuff, as you can imagine, and I get a little bit giddy over things. So it's lovely that you enjoy getting them. It's lovely. Oh, I suppose so, Nancy, yeah, a bit of knitting pattern design here, yeah. See, this time, look, I'm auraing that line. Just sort of working my way down each shape. And the next one. And then that one there. Okay. So then I'm going to sort of start on this one here. You see where we've got this line? If I actually take this line underneath, I'm going to join it with that one. And then this one, I'm just going to bring it to sort of a little V shape because I want to do the same here. There we go. So you see why now the top one is going to sort of follow its own little pathway up there, isn't it? So that's going to go up there, like so. Oh, Joanna, I'll send you a pen. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I'll put you one in the post today. Okay, I'll make a note of that. I'm going to write a note. Look, Joanne, send pen. There we go. All right, same with this one. Look, there. There's just going to go to that little V shape. And next one. And then this one. There we go. And then into that one. Okay. Oh, no, Joe, you know, something's missing. You need it. Okay. I like that one. Looks good, doesn't it? So we can actually, if we want to. Oh, Alison, good point. If you've got one of those storage bags, you can draw on it with your micron pen or a Sharpie, fine liner Sharpie. Avoid alcohol markers, and then colour them in with regular pencils. As long as you're not going to wash it. If you're going to wash it, then you want to perhaps use a fabric paint or the Inktense pencils because they'll be fine. I think, don't you have to iron them to sort of fix them? Yeah, okay. All right, so that's that one. I like that one. Just going to do an aura around that. Now, I'm not worried about going over that pencil line there because, as we say, they're just a guide. So it's absolutely fine. Okay. There we are. Okay, so see this one at the bottom here? I'm just going to sort of put that little V in there. Seems as though it needs that. Oh, thank you, Leslie. There you go. We knew we'd have sort of the answer between us. Okay, I'm just going to put a row of bubbles in. There we go. Just on the end there. As long as they sort of touch each other, you don't need to worry if they're different sizes or how many you're putting in. Just go with the flow with these. It's nice to do. And of course, I don't know whether to. I might fill in those gaps with a bigger pen, maybe. I might do that in a bit. I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to think about whether I want to fill these little holes in. So let's move on. I'm going to ignore this one for now, I think. And I'm going to come to this one here. So let's start in about the middle, and I'm going to put a nice big bubble in there. There we go. All right. And then on either side, I'm going to do the same, but it's going to look like it's going underneath that one. And then underneath as well this one, and then the same again, and again. And you see this one is going to sort of stop at the border there, just go as though it's going underneath there. Anna, yes, they are there. There are some left. We put some on yesterday. Leslie's been busy packing this morning. There are still some left. Sorry, Leslie. John's laughing now because in order for us to get them to you in one piece, we do have to make sure that they're well packed. So Leslie spent most of the morning packing rulers. She's going to love me. Sorry. Okay. We were laughing about it before I came on air, actually. That's why it's so funny. Okay, I've got a bubble in the middle one. Oh, I don't know. We have to have some fun here. We have to laugh at things. Okay, you see I've gone round and down and round and back up. Oh, I know, Glennies. We had such fun, didn't we, last week? It was, we had a great time. We'll do it again. We will. We'll do it again. Okay. I'm going to just sort of add some lines in this one here. I mean, we could have turned this one into a little gem or anything, but it's nice to mix it up a little bit. I don't want to be predictable. Oh, Ree, that's lovely. Say hi to Freya. It's nice that she got a little gift. It was lovely having you up here. Maybe next time she'll come with you. There we go. Dobby might help. No. Dobby's a little bit worse for wear at the minute, as you see from some of the photos. He and his girlfriend have split up. Pauline Wheeler isn't speaking to him because he's drank all the Prosecco, and he's got a load of mates, and we've got all these sort of gnomes turning up, and they're sort of starting to invade everywhere. He's promised them Christmas lunch and everything. So they're here for a while. So, yeah. Don't know what's going on there. I think Leslie needs to have a few words with him. He needs to get some of them working rather than cluttering the place up. Okay, let's just fill in some bubbles here. Oh, Sandra. I know, it does smell. It's because it's the natural wood. That's why it smells so nice. We're using cherry at the minute. So, it's a lovely wood to work on. Oh, really? Maybe she could have a wander round if necessary, or But I bet once you get going, because you get so engrossed in what we're doing, you sort of forget to fidget. There we are. So I'm just sort of filling in the edges, just where there's a few little gaps. Not going to overdo it. A little bit there, see. There we go. Just adding them in. Joe, yeah, we could do that. We do a double tile box, which the tiles stand in, and the lid opens at the top end. So, yeah. Oh no, Glennie, he is a bit of a devil, isn't he? All right, so we've got 3 more spaces to fill. I think I'm going to come and do this one now. And for this, we need a pencil. I just want to sort of grid it out a little bit more. So here we go. I'm going to ignore those there. Don't sort of think of those, because I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go 4. So in the middle, and I'm going to do 1 there. And I'm going to do 1 there. Okay. And we're going to take 1 at a time, so we can sort of keep track of this. So I've separated that top one there. Okay. All right. So let's go a bit bigger. Are you ready? So I'm just going to create a little bit of a bubble that side, and then I'm going to do a bubble that side. Okay. And turn it round. And a bubble on this side, and a bubble on this. Now you see here, this is where that line sort of ended. So if I want a full sort of cube, I've got to imagine it's going to be there. So it's slightly going underneath. Okay. So then let's take this top one first. I'm going to go from here, and I'm going to go up and around, create a bit of a curl. All right, then I'm not going to go to the point. I'm just going to sort of bring it out from around here. There's 2, and then I'm going to do another one. That's 3. Okay. Oh, Viv, yeah. So I am helping people today with grids, but it's not going to fully look like a grid completely. So you see a very, very thin shape there. And then I'm going to go from here back in, and then from here, back in. This is a kind of a nice tile to try different tangles in. If you don't want to do a full design, it's almost like a little sampler maybe. Oh, Zoe, how many years have I done this? I think, as I say a lot, I was doing it before I knew what it was. So in that case, I've been doing it a long time. But in terms of actually teaching it and doing my original training with Sanntangle, it's about 3 years. So it doesn't take long. And I think it's wherever you want to take it, isn't it? That's the thing. It's whatever you want to do with it. So my version sort of does this way. Okay, so you see again, look, I've done that wave. And my second one, I don't want to sort of confuse things by putting too many grid lines in at once. So I think it's kind of nice that we look at it this way first. So remember, from the point around, there we go. And then along and put to the point again. You see I'm actually giving it space at the top now, going to a point at the bottom. I think, going back to perhaps Zoe's questions, well, it helps that I was a teacher before I did this, so having that sort of understanding of maybe how people learn and how to break things down has made quite a difference. And of course, writing all the instructions that I do for the stencils. Gosh, Vera, yeah, so from the beginning, my goodness me. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? Quite a journey. Look at those. Okay, back in seeing the next one. I'm going to bring in the pencil. Now, if you feel confident enough to add in the grid lines for the next two at the same time, that's absolutely fine. And then if I create this one this way and this way and turn it round, I'm going to stick with exactly the same process. I'm not going to get too carried away and think I've got this. Let's just focus on the little bits we're doing right now. There we go. And the next one. And there. Let's see, we get another and another. And turning it round. Oh, Sandra, I keep saying I'm going to get organised, and I sort of am. I must admit, having those pouches has meant that I can keep all my stencils together, so if I just pick that up, I know that I've got everything I need in terms of my stencils. So. Look at those, they're lovely, aren't they? Oh, hello Lisa and Richard, welcome. We've done a few different tangles today, so it'll be quite nice to see where we're at with it. Okay, so let's do this one. See, from the point again, and then give it a bit of a space outwards and a space outwards. And turn it round. And the same again, look, from the point, and then outwards and outwards. And turning it round. Oh, but yeah, they will be good for borders, these ones. They work pretty well. And, you could sort of do them, I suppose, around different shapes as well. They don't have to just be squares. Okay, see, let's have a look at these now. You notice how they sort of look a little bit lost. There's a little bit of a stop gap there, isn't there? Well, what we're going to do, we're going to change that. So if I just turn it to its side for a minute, you see here? What I'm going to do is, you've got a couple of ways you could do it. I think I'm going to go, you could go back to the point, but I'm going to follow it through. So it joins onto that one there, see? So the same for this one, around. So I'm just sort of keeping it like an aura, keeping it going. And then I do the same, working my way down. So follow it round until you come across that line there. Same again here, look. moving it down. Same again, look. So it's only really those two, because that first one actually joins in anyway. And around. Oh, it's a bit wide, that's okay. Okay. Alright, so there we go. You see where they're sort of joining in. But again, if we look at that, you can see that it's still sort of stopped and we can still take it that bit further. So let's just follow it in. You see now it's gone underneath. So if we do the same with this one, there we go. So you're going to get sort of two out of that. And then again, see, underneath. And then the same with this one, underneath. And then this one, so you're not really going to get much there, maybe just this one. But this one we're going to sort of see there. Yeah, that's a nice one, isn't it? Let's have a look at that then. Look at that, how it sort of swirls around. Now what we could do, because we see that this is extending into the next, we could actually just add a couple of lines here and just sort of follow it through so it looks like it's continuing. Yeah, there we are. Oh, I like that one. I do like that one. So let's have a look at this one here. I'm going to sort of turn it at a bit of an angle, because what I want to do is create a series of lines from one side to the other, just on a bit of an angle. There we are. We've done this one before. It's not tricky in the slightest, this one. It's quite effective, certainly when you shade it. Okay. See, maybe I'm going to follow that again so we get the angle. One there. And then if I just come on in and add a little bit of a curve to the line. See, I'm just sort of reinforcing it there. Just working my way down. One to the next. There we go. Just sort of gives it that bit of difference. And then let's do the same on this side. Again, if it goes over the border a little bit, that's fine. There we go. It's kind of nice, this. I like it. Sometimes just breaking it up with something a little bit simpler works wonders. There we go. Okay. And then here we go. I'm just going to add in a few little lines there. See, they're all sort of slightly different and they're sort of flicking out, going at the same angle as those original diagonals, but just sort of flicking out a little bit different. There we go. All different, so don't try and make them the same. I'm not counting them, although I bet I am now. I've just said I'm not counting them. Oh, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. It's a blast from the past. Well, I'm pretty good these days. I don't eat as many sweets as I used to do. Certainly I've not eaten a fizzy cola bottle in quite a while. I used to eat those quite a lot. So I think my dentist is most relieved. Alright, next one. So we're just sort of flicking it out. Gives it a little bit of a vintagey kind of rope frame feel, maybe. This one. Alright, look there. So now I'm sort of, not far off, I'm sort of thinking we're going to add some colour to this. Oh, cop cops, Chris, remember them? Rock hard, weren't they? You had to suck them quite a while. Alright, so we're left with one now. So I'm going to come in with this one. I'm going to create a bit of a wave. Okay. And then I'm going to go a bit taller, so a bit closer so you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to sort of fill it with bubbles But you see, I'm just going to work it so they're not touching the sides of that shape. They're just sort of following along, really. This sort of odd kind of little cue of bubbles. A little bit of social distancing in between each one there. There we go. Okay. So, see, really quite small, going different size there, top to bottom. Okay. And then I'm going to put a row of bubbles, but this time I'm going to go bigger. And then I'm going to get smaller. And then bigger again. Might go one more bigger, there you go. And then smaller. Okay, and then bigger. There we are. And then smaller. Okay. And then I'm going to do another wavy line. Okay. And then same again. I'm going to come on in and I'm going to fill in a row of bubbles. You see, because I've got a wider space this time, I can take my bubbles a little bit bigger. Just sort of kind of looks nice that way. There we go. Might even put like a few in there if I've got any gaps there. I can fill it with a few bubbles. There we go. And then getting bigger. And just fill that space there, look. And then getting smaller. There we are. And then getting a bit bigger. Can't go too big there though. See how it's actually going to fill that space in now? Okay. Oh, Charlotte, sorry, I do draw bubbles a lot. So I suppose I am a little bit quick with them. But please don't think you've got to keep up with me. You take your time and you put them in wherever you can. Okay, there we go. All right, let's have a look at what we've sort of done here. There we go. So we've got a few sort of different things going on there now. I think before I come in with anything else, I'm just going to have a quick search for a rubber. Got one. I'm good. I've got one. I'm all organised. There we go. Well, Leslie's just rolled her eyes at me. Yeah, get packing them rulers. It's going to rub out those little bits. Okay, I'm going to come in with my thicker pen or my brush pen now. And I am actually just going to fill in those gaps to that first tangle that we did there. I think that's going to look quite dramatic. We want a little bit of contrast in here. And there we go. And of course, if you've got any lines that you feel are a little bit fatter or they need neatening up a bit, now's the time to do it. Okay, I'm even going to do that bit there, look. All right. Sort of same here. There we go. Oh, thank you, Charlotte. It's a bit different, isn't it? I do. All my tiles, I suppose, are different in some ways. You'll find a lot of the tangles are similar. We do use some more than once, but that's all about, you know, learning how to use them in new ways. But it's nice to be challenged and to have different ones. So I think that we should be having cake when we do tile 200. It's quite a landmark, isn't it? It's last year's we did tile 100, if you remember, back on New Year's Eve. We had to put a few extra sessions in, if I recall, just to sort of get that so it would happen. But this year it's going to be sort of around Christmas time, but yeah, we need to get a few in there. Oh, hang on a second, is that needed? No, I'm actually gonna, yeah, I'm just gonna fill that one in. I could put those lines in, but no, I'm just gonna fill it in. Just so it ends. I could have brought that line seed down there, but I know, Julie, I was only gonna do 12. And I've added a few more in since then, but you know, it's kept us together, hasn't it? It's kept us all going, so I think that's really nice. Good thing to do. I think I'm also gonna, let's have a look at this row of bubbles here. I'm just gonna fill in around this section here. Now if this is a bit, you know, a bit of a faff and you think I can't get them in, then you could always fill the whole thing and then add some, so I'm going to add a bubble there, and then go in with white pen afterwards and just add some dots, it'd be fine. But I'm going to sort of go for the challenge here and see if I can do it. There we are. See, round we go. Okay. There, I can always add a few in, or if it changes a little bit, not a problem. There we are. So it depends, you don't have to do this, but I kind of like that little bit of contrast, I must admit, in there. See, there's little bits in there now. There we go. Okay, so I've sort of lost a little one there, but that's okay, I can bring that one back in, just in a little bit. And then I'm just going to blacken off these little sections here. Here we go. I could have done those in red, couldn't I suppose? Okay. So I'm thinking, I don't know whether to use all colours or whether to use just one. Or let's have a look at what we've got, shall we? See what we can come up with. Okay, here we go. So, there we go. All right. Oh, I think I'm just going to add that little bit in. See, just to give that a little bit of balance down the bottom there. There we go. I might just even, you know, just bring a little bit in. There we go. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Oh, maybe even, oh, now I'm faffing, look. But, you know, sometimes you've got to really look at it and think, you know, it needs a little bit there, or maybe that's how it's going to work. You don't always have to plan them completely. There we go, like that. All right. So, let's have a look where we're at. We need a little bit of shading to go on with now, I think. So, what we're going to do, I think starting with, I'm going to start with a bit of coloured pencil. And I'm going to work on this little spiral here. So I've got sort of a red colour. These are still bronzeal, by the way. They're just, there you go, look. Different variation. They come in a tin of 12. Okay. So what I'm going to do, let's have a look. We've got the centres, of course. So let's add some in the centre. That's pretty straightforward. And then I'm just going to add a little bit on the opposite ends. So here, and then see where that one goes underneath there, and a little bit there. And then of course, where something goes underneath, we need a little bit. And then back into the middles, and then on the ends, and then ends and underneath. So just sort of follow down your piece. You're wanting a little bit of colour both sides. Same here. Back to the middle. And then of course on those little bits going underneath or on the end. Okay. Oh, this is funny. So I'm going to come in with my tortilla on here. Now, let's have a look. Now you see here I've got a little bit of graphite on it, but it's still nice and pointy. And I don't want to get the graphite at the moment into the red, so I'm just coming in and just using a little bit of a nail file and see, just going to wipe it out. See what's happening like? I'm just sort of filing it to a point, and as I'm doing that, it's just taking off that graphite. So before you know it, in a second, there we go. Go, clean point again. So what I can do, I'm just going to very gently touch around those little bits of pastel, trying if I can to leave a little bit on the middle there, just so you get that little bit of a highlight. And then here we go, same in there. All right, just in little bits. See, so it's not much at all. I'm not blowing the chalky bits away. I'm just sort of, in a minute, I can do that in a minute. I'm just gonna make sure I get it all done first. There we are. Same on this one. There we go. In we go. Okay. So there we are. A little bit there maybe. I can blow it. Okay. So let's have a look. See, I've got a bit of colour in there. So I think a bit of colour as well. I'm gonna do the bubbles. I'm gonna stick with the reds. I've got a slightly brighter red now. Oh, quick sip of tea for it goes cold. So what I'm gonna do with these, I'm just gonna sort of add a little bit on the ends there. Let's see, they're a little bit small, so I'm not gonna worry too much about those. See, they're a little bit smaller. And then into there. Okay, so not a massive amount of serious colouring in there. I'm just gonna now just gently sort of soften them round. So they look like little sweets, really. See, hardly anything with those because they're so small. They just need a slight touch up. There we go, see. Alright. Okay. Like that. So, you could, I'm going to bring a bit of orange in. Just going to do these ones. Here, I wasn't sure whether I was going to use every colour. I'm not going to colour every single piece in. I think this is probably going to be it. Just wanted to bring a highlight of colour, and as you know, we usually leave the colour till the last, but today we're mixing that up a little bit, changing it round. I do like to keep you on your toes. Alright, see, not much in those, just a little bit in there. There you go. Okay, so let's have a look at that. There we are. Alright, it's nice. Yeah. So I'm just going to file off my tortillon again, just to remove that coloured pastel. There we go. There we are, sit there, nice and clean again. I'm going to come in now with my regular pencil. So working on this one here, I'm going to go underneath. See those there? So I've missed that one there, that's okay. And then underneath. So everywhere something goes underneath, you're going to put in some pencil there. I'm just adding to it. I'm not trying to colour in or blend with it, nothing like that. Just putting that pencil down. You see, just where it goes underneath. Okay. Oh, just trying to go a bit bigger. It doesn't want to. There we go. So back with that tortillon. I'm just gonna again just soften it off. but again, trying not to completely cover all of it. I might just put a little bit on that bottom edge there. There we go. And the same around here. So don't forget this weekend, if you've got a bit of time, get your tile swap done if you've not already got it in. We've got quite a few coming in. Of course, it's going to be the last one that comes out before Christmas. So I'd really love as many people as possible to take part with that if you could. That would be fabulous. What a lovely thing, isn't it, to send a tile to one of your Tangle friends for a swap. It'd be lovely. Okay. Sally, honestly, you can use whatever pencils you can afford, I would say. I do like the Brunswick. They're a good range and they're not too expensive. But if you want to go for the top of the top, then you'd be looking at the Faber-Castell Polychromos. Oh, Vicky, interesting. Don't open them all yet. But yeah, whatever pencils you can afford, I would say, the best quality you can afford. And I know Polychromos are on offer at the minute on Amazon. But I say some of them, they can be quite out of range price-wise. You see here? A bit there and there. A bit there and there. There and there. I know it looks a bit scruffy, but I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. Anything on the 17th now? Let me think. So we'd have to get it out in the post by 1920. So we'd have them in the post by the 21st. 21st and 22nd. So Hermes takes what? 2 days? So it's highly possible, absolutely highly possible that you could do that. I mean, we'd be packing during the weekend, but of course we've got classes that weekend. But yeah, we'd try and get some out on the Monday. I would definitely try and get some out for you on the Monday, Tuesday. Okay, see, I'm just sort of working my way down here. There we go. So just sort of not being particularly, say, neat. I'm just sort of going with the flow there. Okay. Just getting some graphite down. Okay. So if I come back with my tortillon, again, I'm just going to sort of add a little bit of curvature there, just a little bit round where it seems to go underneath. You see there? But we didn't really need to go there with our pencil because there's enough graphite on the tortillon to allow that to move along and under there. Same with this one. And of course, when you get to this one, we're going to just do both sides. See? And just leave that gap in the middle if we can. And along here. Now this time I'm going to have a little bit more this side. See there? Because that's sort of going underneath that one. It's almost like a mirror image, isn't it? Okay, same. And there we go. And then of course the bubbles here if you can. And we don't put too much into them if you can't get them. They're quite small. You just want a little bit of a highlight, nothing major. See, same with these, just like we did with the pastels, really. Okay. All right. Okay. And then just going to sort of work it at an angle here. I'd like to sort of work, you know, along the same angle that I did for the original diagonal line. I think it just gives it that little bit of realism. Okay, now even less, I'm going to hold it further back, see, right way back, and just very gently, there you go, look, soften that edge, because I want to try and leave a little bit in the middle if I can. See, just all the way down. And then of course, along the other side. Okay. Just sort of gently working it along. I see some of this, you can see I've not quite gone into those bits there. It doesn't really matter so much at the minute, but if there's some white gaps, just go in and fill them in, that's fine. Okay, let's have a little look at this. Okay, so still needs a bit more work. So this is where the slight twist changes, because we seem to have shaded everything apart from this end. So here we go, I'm going to start with this end. And I'm going to come onto this side and I'm going to press on. Okay, quite a bit of pressure there, but quite dark. And then here, same as before. Now, don't worry about the fact that that's a bit curved. You know, we're going to go up as a straight, just as before. Because we're going to sort of do that on both sides of that line. Same on this side, all the way up this one. See, sort of down over that one. And then all the way up this one. So straight over anything that's already gone before. And straight along this one. Okay. So I'm completely looking or ignoring what's sort of underneath it. And just working along those original lines that I drew. Okay, see there, I've lost a little bit of that pastel sort of escaped. And then here I'm just going to sort of come in and around those bubbles, so I've got a little bit of a scalloped edge there. Okay, and I'm not going to do anything on this one because, of course, well, maybe here. Maybe I will. That I'm not going to worry about. Okay. So then back in with our tortillon. See, I'm going to turn it round so I'm not sort of leaning all over it. And I'm just going to come round with swirls just because I've gone in quite heavy. I just want to get it going. There we go. Right, just sort of working it all the way down over everything that I've done there. Okay, same on this side. There we go. Just working it up there. You see that I'm a little bit closer to the end of the tortillon now because I am applying a little bit more pressure than before. So you're leaving that little gap down the middle there. And then the same on this side. So I know I already shaded underneath there. But I'm just going to add in that extra bit there as well. Same on this side. Got nice little swirls. There we go. Same on this side, so it doesn't matter what's gone on underneath there. I'm going to completely ignore that. And the same on this one. Working my way up and then working my way down. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to turn my tile around because, as I say, I don't want to smudge it any. There's quite a lot of graphite on this. So I would suggest if you were going to put this into a sketch pad or a journal that you spray it with some sort of fixative, whether it would be a bit of hairspray or whether you've got some spray and shine or a proper fixative for artists, then that's what I would suggest. Okay. Alright, so here I'm just going to sort of go around and just keep to that scalloped edge. You see? And then of course down this one. back in with my pen. Quick sip of tea, of course. There we go. Oh, hang on, I might, I'm going to use an 03, I think. What I'm going to do is, let's have a look. I'm just going to come around those bubbles. See, and just sort of reinforce that line there. There we go. And I'm looking at this one here. Anything that's sort of crossing over, I'm just going to bring in. Just be careful because, of course, we've got pastels in there. You see, I'm just sort of highlighting the fact that one goes over the other. Same there, look. Not doing all of the line, just that little bit there. Okay, and then, of course, I'm just going to force them a little bit if possible. I know there's a bit of pastel on there. And then back down this one. And again, I don't want to put my ruler on this time because I don't want to smudge it anymore. But let's just sort of go in and put those back in. So I know we've got sort of little bubbles in there maybe, but I'm just going to sort of give it a little bit of definition. Same on this side. So you just follow it down and just give it a little bit of blackness there, just so you can definitely see that those bubbles are going underneath each other. Oh, hello Elise, been a while. Yeah, it'd be lovely to see you in a class, that would be great. Honestly, we need to get together. Everybody needs to come on over here if they've got any chance at all possible. It'd be lovely. I do love doing the classes, it's great. And of course we do push the boundaries a little bit, don't we? We do try a few different things out and go a little bit bigger than you perhaps normally would and all sorts of things. There we go. Okay, so I've gone up all of those. I think what I'm going to do here as well, just going to bring those lines back in, you know, just going to, not all of them, just sort of a few flicked up and around. You see, there we go, just in places. So you don't have to do all of them, just one or two, just along that row. Right. So this is where it changes, I think, doing live and seeing how somebody does it. You get all that shading in there. And of course, we've done a couple of layers of shading now, so things change a little bit. Let's have a look. See the difference that that's made. I think I'm going to come back in with pencil. I'm just going to shade around the outside now. I just want a little bit of pencil around the edges. And around there. Again, not being particularly neat about this, it's just get some in there. And then of course, tortillon just along the tops there. Turning it round. There we go. And again. And again. So 1st of December, because I would like them out on the 3rd, because some of them do go abroad. So even if the 2nd is December, if they sort of a little bit late, we can get away with. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in, I've got a white pastel, or you can use the white chalk pencil. And I'm just going to go down these rows and just add in a line of white. All right, now don't be shy with this, just go for it. We're not going to blend it off at all. See, that one I'm not going to because it's a little bit tricky around the edges there, but here, yeah, definitely. I think even there, I'm just going to add a little bit in on those as well. I'm not going to do that one, and I think with this one, I'm just going to sort of add a little bit onto the edges that need a bit of whitening there, see? Definitely down those. Last but not least, again, I'm going to come in with my ruler this time, because what I want to do is I just want to go back in and really identify the edge of the design there. And back in. So yeah, I know there's a lot of tiles now. If you find that you've missed a few or you're not caught up, doesn't matter, you can go back and look. You can pick and do the ones you want to do. There we go. So it doesn't matter which way this one is. There's quite a lot of shading in there, isn't there? I reckon, see, we could go even darker. I think this is sometimes it's if I can get, you know, I can get you to go a little bit darker with some of them. I think your shading would make a huge difference, because the darker you go in some places, the lighter your lights look and you get more of a 3D effect. So I think that would be brilliant. There we go. Okay, maybe just a touch on this side as well. Just up there. And after all, if you try it and you think, oh, it's a bit too dark, it's not for me, then it's one tile. But this is really going to give it that sense of 3D, isn't it? There we go. Okay. Ooh. There we go. So if this is something you want to give a go, there's a few grid bits in there, a little bit of organic. It's entirely up to you if you want to add a bit of colour or not. You can do whatever you want to do, whatever works. But there you go. There's our tile 194. It's definitely 194. Just gonna go over those. So have a bit of fun with it and see what you can come up with. But of course, if you think, you know, those of you that came to class last weekend, why not look at one of your images that you did and perhaps add one of these tangles in as a border to one of those images that you did? Or if you've got something a little bit bigger, or maybe even the moth, imagine this around the moth. That would look beautiful, wouldn't it? So there's lots of options, lots of different things there. And this one I just love. I just think it swirls and you could make quite a thing of that. So, okay. So have fun with this one. I better go and help Leslie packing some of these rulers. And have a good weekend, everybody. Okay, if it snows where you are, if you say it's going to snow, just hang in there, stay safe, and only go out if you need to. And just, you know, just take it easy. So until next week then. Yeah, until next week, I will speak to you soon. All right, you take care, everybody, and have fun. Bye.